reflect the views of the city of Cupertino. Election Tuesday is November 6th. Please vote for the 3 candidates you think are best suited to serve on Cupertino City Council. To view local election programming online, please visit the city's website at cupertino.org/election. And keep watching the City Channel, your news source for City Council election programming. The League of Women Voters of Cupertino-Sunnyvale presents the Cupertino Union School District Board of Education Candidate Forum 2018, live from the Cupertino Community Hall. And now for tonight's moderator, Tracy Edwards.
Welcome to this candidate forum for Cupertino Union School District. I'm Tracy Edwards from the League of Women Voters and will be moderating tonight's forum. The League of Women Voters runs forums like this to allow voters to see candidates and to hear them address questions of interest to the public. Our goal is to enable voters to learn about the candidates so they can make informed choices. The League of Women Voters never endorses or opposes a candidate or a political party. 3 of the 5 seats on the Board of Trustees for Cupertino Union are up for election this November. All 4 of the candidates are here this evening. They are Lori Cunningham, Will Flewellen, Satish Kumar Madatil, and Jerry Liu. Voters in this school district may vote for 3 of these candidates, and the 3 candidates that get the most votes in November will be elected to the school board. The candidates have agreed to a format and ground rules for tonight's forum, and the format is simple. I will pose questions to the candidate, and each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond. A timer seated in the front row will give the candidate visual signals to help them pace their responses. The questions for tonight's forum were developed by a team of League members based upon their own research and questions submitted by the public via email. Since we received ample questions from the public in advance, we are not collecting more questions from the audience tonight. The forum is being recorded and aired live via the Cupertino City channel. The ground rules ask that the candidates not use forum recordings for campaign purposes. We also encourage the audience not to record the forum because we want it to be shown in its entirety. We'll tell you how to access the forum video at the end of tonight's program. Finally, we ask that the audience refrain from displays of support or opposition, and please hold your applause until the end of the forum. We'll now turn our attention to the candidates. Thank you all for running for office, and thank you for participating tonight. Each candidate will provide an opening statement. The speaking order for the opening statements, determined by random drawing, will be from left to right, and we'll start with Will. Will, your opening statement, please.
Hello, everyone. I would first like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this event, and all of you for being here, of course. I am very new to this political game, and so I'm a fresh face. A lot of you probably don't even know me, even though I've been here for 10 years, and yeah, it's been good. And so I am here because my son just started kindergarten this year, and I think that's pretty special. I'm enjoying that journey so far, and so I look forward to the next 8 years, and possibly even further. So I am here to see what I can do with the district, kind of on the financial level. I have a good couple decades of accounting experience and some startup experience, some nonprofit work that I think will be quite helpful to a district that is currently running in the red. So I want to look at some more revenue streams, possibly look at more on the operational side of things. Let's see where we can shave some money off, see if PG&E is giving us a good rate, see if the water district's giving us the right terms. And Will, thank you for your time.
Satish, you're next.
Hello everyone, thank you for inviting me, and thanks League of Women Voters as well. And about me a little bit, I've been a Cupertino School District resident for last over 13 years. Okay, 20 years almost, but 13 years my kids have been in the school. So I started as a classroom volunteer and, in FUHSD. And then second year itself, I have become a PTA board member and later a lot of PTA positions, leadership positions. Right now, I am the Monta Vista PTA president, council vice president for leadership, and 6th district executive board member. And over and above, I am the regional commissioner for American Youth Soccer Organization, which is a non-profit organization which promotes soccer in youth. And in my past, I was the PTA president for FUHSD, executive vice president in Kennedy Middle School, and school site council chair for FUHSD for 2 years, and actually 5 years in FUHSD, the fundraising chair. So tons of PTA experience, still active in PTA, last 13 years.
Thank you very much. Jerry?
All right. So thank you all for being here today, and thanks to the League for hosting this event. My name is Jerry Liu, and I'm the father of 2 girls currently enrolled in the district. Our family moved to Cupertino 8 years ago for its schools, and since then I've been active in our school, in our community. As the current president, PTA president for Lincoln Elementary and vice president at Kennedy Middle School, I'm familiar with the needs of our teachers and our students. As a president of the Cupertino Library Foundation, I understand some of the things that our community values. And as a planning commissioner for the city of Cupertino, I recognize the responsibilities that come with public service. In 2016, I received the CREST Award from the city of Cupertino for my volunteer work in education. Professionally, I've authored papers and I've received patents for the use of technology in education, and I'll bring over a decade of people management and budget ownership experience to the school board. I'm honored to have been endorsed by 3 of the 5 current school board members, and I hope to earn your trust and your vote this November. Thank you.
Lori?
Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here tonight, and to the League for hosting us. My name is Lori Cunningham, and I am a 9-year volunteer and leader here in CUSD. I have held most every volunteer job there is to hold at our elementary school, and as well have served on the PTO Board of Directors and as our school site council chair for the past several years at Montclair Elementary. I have also spent the last 4 school years serving on all 4 now of our standing district advisory committees, including our budget advisory. I am a proud product of CUSD schools. I grew up here in Sunnyvale, and I attended West Valley Elementary and Cupertino Middle School myself when it was still a middle school before it was it was a junior high before it was a middle school. And so running for board is really coming full circle for me. This is the community and schools that helped to raise me. This is the community and schools that are helping me to raise my own family. I have a master's in physical therapy and have worked extensively as a clinician, clinical educator, and teaching graduate students as a healthcare director.
Lori, thank you very much. Satish, the next question will go to you. What unique strength or skill will you bring to the board?
So I think first of all, I have been in all this volunteer organization and community services. The main thing for me is I can talk, I can work with anybody. And I can negotiate well. I go based on consensus, and I have a lot of leadership skills, and I'm an engineering manager too. So last 13 years of engineering manager leadership helped me to deal with different types of people. And as part of my everyday volunteer work, I have been working with a different kind of people and were able to work with them very well. I can lead a team, I can negotiate with people, I can work with any difficult situation and any crisis management. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jerry, you're next.
Would you mind repeating the question,
Happy
please?
to. What unique strength or skill will you bring to the board?
Sure. A couple of things. I hope that the voters will consider me because I've spent a lot of, probably literally putting hundreds of hours into the school and the community the last several years. I've served in all the leadership positions at PTA, School Site Council, at both elementary and middle school level. I've been involved in community organizations, talked about the Library Foundation. I'm also a board member for Asian American Parent Association that puts on a lot of parent enrichment sort of education seminars. I also have experience with public service. I serve on the Planning Commission, and so I know what it's like to take in government to take an idea to a proposal to implementation. And lastly, in my corporate day job, I manage an international team with a multi-million-dollar budget. And so I could also bring management, people management, and budget experience to the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lori, please.
So I've been a parent leader for a long time in this district now, and in that time I've had the opportunity to listen and to learn from stakeholders all over this district. But I've also attended almost every school board meeting in this district since the spring of 2016, so for more than 2 years now. And in that time, I have had the opportunity, I think, to become uniquely qualified to hit the ground running after this election. I've heard as our teachers and staff have spoken to the challenges of working through curriculum adoptions and pilots. I've learned alongside our current board members as students and teaching teams from many of our schools are featured and honored in our district. And I've listened through 3 budget cycles now, as both our leadership team and our staff on the front line speak to the challenges of trying to work within our extremely limited funding in our school district. I'm not foolish enough to say that I can solve all of our problems on my own, but I won't make promises that I can't keep. What I can say is that I'm committed to making sure that our community does not ever have to question whether or not our district is managing its resources wisely.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it. And Will?
Strengths for me, I certainly don't have the impressive background and experience that the 3 candidates next to me do, but I bring a bit of passion to the table. You know, I'm young. I just turned 40 last month, and it's a different perspective than some may have. I don't really have any political biases necessarily. I'm not tied to any big organizations. I just care about the kids. I want to make sure our kids have a great future. I'm not going to touch on all the accounting and stuff. I think that'll help. I want to use my MBA and think outside the box a little bit. Think of schools and how we can cooperate more with some of these big companies in the area. And I think that'll be how I can help the most. Operational excellence.
Thank you. Jerry, the next question will begin with you. How will you get to know our schools and the issues that are of importance to parents?
So I think this question comes down to sort of communication and engagement. And one of the, I think I would bring the sort of the parents' perspective to the board. I think there has been coffee talks and various things that the board members have gone to the schools, but sometimes I wonder that's not necessarily where people are. At the schools at Lincoln and Kennedy, there's a very strong presence on social media. And so that's where a lot of people get their information. So I think in addition to the thought surveys, the normal communication channels, I would actually look at to go to online where people are. I would hold events and open office hours to get feedback from the parents and the community in general. Thank you.
Very good. Lori?
Can you repeat the question for me, Tracy?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
How will you get to know our schools and the issues that are of importance to parents?
Right, okay. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to serve on all of our district advisory committees in the last 4 years, because that gave me the opportunity to get to know parent leaders from all 25 of our schools, 20 elementary schools, 5 middle schools. And I've really had the opportunity to already be able to understand where there's a lot of common ground between all of our schools, as well as some of the things that make our different schools unique. There are many things that come to the table when you are in a collaborative space and working together to look for those things where you can leverage to make it better for all kids in our district. And so I have no doubt that I will continue down that path of making it a priority to visit all of our schools, to be involved with all of our schools, and to really listen and learn all over this community, because I think that's how we can best represent and to truly have a voice for all kids as a part of our school board. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Will?
I am so excited to get out there and get to know some of these schools. Luckily, I don't work a 9 to 5. I do not have a full-time job. I have part-time work. So I plan to get out to every school and make sure I sit down with the principal, make sure I talk to the teachers and the parents. I really look forward to that part of getting to know the community more. And I just happen to be lucky enough that I don't have an incredibly horrible schedule that has me running 9 to 5 crazy hours all the time, chasing my kid off to another activity after another activity. That'll come, I'm sure, but right now, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Thank you. Satish?
Yeah, I'm true. I'm really a community representative, actually, because I spend more outside than at home, to be frank. I mean, it's like I'm with grassroots level. I am pretty much hands-on. And most of my current volunteer work calls me to go around and talk to people. And I am more a doer than talker. So what it ends up happening is I mingle every time where I go, I have to have some people around me. And we discuss, we talk, we argue, we come up with solutions many times. And I think the best way to communicate with the people is in person, rather than going through email or social media and other things. And I think it's quite helping me out, and I'm sure I'll be able to do that, continue.
Thank you very much. Lori, the next question will be for you to begin with. CUSD is undertaking the development of a long-term strategic plan. What are the 2 or 3 critical components that you would like to see in that long-term strategic plan?
I'm going to speak to my priorities for the district. I believe in academic success for all learners. I think our budget, our bottom line, is extremely important right now. And I think that we need to find ways in our strategic plan to encourage engagement and collaboration across all stakeholder groups. I define academic success as balance between that strive for academic excellence for every student, but also in meeting the social and emotional well-being and needs of every one of our learners. It is tough to grow up in Cupertino. I can speak to that personally. And I think that we must always be looking for ways to support every learner where they need to be supported and challenge every learner where they need to be challenged. Our budget, our bottom line, we have a lot of work to do there just because of the challenge that we face as a school district that is extremely low funded in this state. We are the 12th lowest funded school district in the state right now, so we have a lot of work to do there. And collaboration, you know, when parents come together for kids is when good things happen. Thank you.
You very much. Will?
Probably one of the best lessons I learned during my MBA program was that vision is one of the hardest things to create. You're not really born with the ability to talk to people and have them see the same thing you're seeing. So vision and strategy, they're tied together. You're talking a 10-year, 20-year plan. You need to have vision. You have to be able to have an open communication with the public, with the people that are involved, and you have to have a shared vision. So making sure the community is fully engaged, and we have to do our best to really get all the feedback and the input that we can from the parents, but not just the parents, alumni, and people that are still around and enjoying really great property values because of our wonderful schools. So definitely an open line of communication, and that long-term thinking is going to be really important when it comes to the strategic plan. Good.
Thank you. Satish?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenge what we are facing is definitely enrollment challenges and the balances between the schools. Definitely it's going to be a big challenge for us, and I think I will try my level best to see how I can plug into that and come up with some creative solutions. Even though I don't have right now a lot of solutions, but we'll continue supporting on that. And community engagement and trust is another big one, because as I told her, I represent the community. I know our community needs a lot of things. We have to get, our school board has to get that trust with them. Then the third one is the budgeting part of it. Definitely we need to have a balanced budgeting across.
Use his mic.
Is it the mic? We'll have to pause for a moment while we fix the audio problem. Hello? Okay. So, is it done?
We'll pause. We'll pause till they get it right, and then we'll start your clock again. Try it again.
We're getting out of the way. This is for you, Bill.
Okay, you can start.
Hello?
Yeah, so we'll start. Let me repeat the question, and then we'll start your clock all over again, if that's all right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I've lost track of the question. Cupertino Union is undertaking the development of a long-term strategic plan. What are the 2 or 3 components that you would like to see in the long-term strategic plan?
Yeah, sure. I think I'll repeat this again. Like, some of the challenges what I've been knowing is like the definitely enrollment challenges and the balance between the schools. Definitely this will continue to be a challenge for some more time, and we have to find, creative solution for that. And I'm sure like I will be able to, with my help, like whatever I can, I will try to plug in on that and try to do that. Second one is like definitely earning the trust in the community. That's very important, right? It's not that we did not have it earlier, but again, we are in the continuous improvement process. And I strongly believe in that, and there is a room for us to have that better. The third one is definitely to always, we have been hearing about red budget. We have to see that some ways and means to see that a more, a better budget which will be more make successful students.
Thank you very much. Jerry?
All right. So coming from a corporate management background, I actually have a lot of experience doing strategic plans. Sometimes I think we do even one a year. So I'm going to not talk so much about what the contents of the plan should be, because that's something that really should come with community input. But I want to talk to what I think should, structurally, what should be in that plan. Right? So Dr. Baker started an exercise to sort of envision what the CUSD graduate should look like. And I think that's the perfect place to start. Because in the private sector, if you're organizing an enterprise, you're going to start with what's the product you want to produce. So I think we should start from there. And then we typically what you would do is what's called a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Maybe not so much threats, but I think in this context. But I think that's a place to start. And then we should do a comparative analysis on what are the best schools in the field doing. We should talk about how we want to be organized, a timeline for implementation, and then a mechanism on how we outreach to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Will, the next question will begin with you. Are you concerned about the financial viability of Cupertino Union? If yes, why? And if no, why not?
Absolutely. This is my #1 priority, and I think this is where I can help the most. $5 million in red is not a good place to be. It's improving. They're definitely fixing it right now. Dr. Baker and his staff are doing a great job turning it around, and projections are looking better, but we're not there yet. And you know what? I really think Prop 13 is a problem. I know a lot of people told me not to touch this, but eventually the state has to fix it. It just hit its 40-year anniversary, and it's kind of ruining the infrastructure of the whole state. Sure, I wouldn't touch people's retirement homes and things like that, but we can tax our commercial a lot better. We can get a lot more money from them. So I know that's a state thing, but to address it here on the local level, they'll hear it, and it's a big concern. So yeah, let's bring more money in.
Thank you very much. Satish?
Yep, definitely it is an issue, right? I think everybody's talking at least budget one time in each of our speech, right? So definitely this is an area where we need to look into. And I think what we need to do is, I know it's a continuous improvement process. Again, in my previous one, I said, I think we have to get into more efficient way of operation overall, right? Look into all ways and means to get any way which you can save and put it in the right way. So we have to be taking a deeper look into that and to see that how we can optimize and get in for the right one. And some creative way how to generate additional money also we should be looking into. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jerry?
Just repeat the question, please, Tracy.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Are you concerned about the financial viability of Cupertino Union? If yes, why? If no, why not?
All right. I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, it'd probably be a 7 or 8 for me. When I talk to folks that are been here for decades, and I go back and talk to them, what were their problems back then? It's about the budget, because I think there's some structural issues here. Let me talk a bit about how I see this, right? Because there are some factors outside of our control. So first of all, we're a revenue limit district, right? What that means is we get paid on average daily attendance. More kids we serve, more money we get. So you look at some of the trends that are outside our control. #1, enrollment. Enrollment we're about 17,300 kids. We're looking at probably a 3% drop up until 2022. It'll start coming back up at 23. So what happens is you have an 88 increase of about 2.7%. You have an enrollment drop that's a little bit, that takes that down. And then you have basically some of the decisions that the governor has made in terms of the teacher and employee pensions, which kind of dips that curve down, and that's what's resulting in some of the projected deficits. So definitely it's a concern, because we're going to have to take some actions to make sure we protect the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori?
Yeah, so for the last 2 school years, I have been fortunate to be serving as a part of our Budget Advisory Committee. And so you betcha I'm concerned about our financial viability. You know, CUSD finds itself in the position of being the only, as Jerry was describing, revenue limit or local control funding formula funded district in our area. We are surrounded on all sides by districts that have significantly more money per student than we have. Our students are not getting their fair share. And so I think one of the things that comes from that is it is fair to expect your school board members to be advocates. No one will stand up for us as a district if we don't stand up for ourselves first. And so one of the things that I think I have done and will continue to do as a board member is to be an advocate for more resources coming from the state with our local elected state officials. And that's it. Thank you.
Satish, the next question will begin with you. What does academic excellence mean to you?
Academic excellence for me is not just getting A+ everywhere. I think getting definitely the future of our country is our children. The children should excel in everything. Whether it could be a sport, whether it could be a debate and speech, it could be a science, STEM, or math, doesn't matter, or world history, or even to love other people. My view of academic excellence is getting a child into a level that he or she can shine in every aspect of it. So it is not just A+ or any specific engineering or medical or anything. Try to get a child into a true human being. That's what the academic excellence for me is.
Thank you. Jerry?
Sure. So academic excellence for me, I think one of the requisites, of course, is knowledge. I think it's the scores, but that's not all there is. I think, and in fact, that's probably not the most important component. So I work in a research lab. I actually manage a research lab. So all the folks I work with actually all have PhDs. And what I've found in my decade of managing these folks is that the most successful researchers that we have are not the ones who are the best at solving the problems. It's probably the traditional academic excellence. It's the folks that know what problems there is to solve, right? Identifying what the problems and being able to communicate that and pull the team together. That's what constitutes success. And so for me, a lot of this, it's around, there is a core of sort of knowledge, but then there is character leadership. There is being able to work with folks. And there are some of the traits around persistence that I think are key to excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I define academic success for our students as balance. That it is balancing that strive for academic excellence with the social and emotional well-being and needs of every one of our learners. We have a program in CUSD called Project Cornerstone at many of our schools, as well as some other programs that support social and emotional learning. And I believe that those are critical to what we are doing for learners because, as Jerry said, in my professional career, I know that my best therapists and certainly my best partners as parent leaders in this district are people who can embrace critical thinking and innovation and creativity and thinking outside of the box, but compassion. And so I think kindness and compassion is also a part of that definition of academic excellence for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Will?
Everybody kind of nailed it there. It's not all about the A+ and the 4.5 GPA anymore. I think a big component that we might be forgetting about is civic engagement. When I went to school, I was a scholar athlete. I did good in the books and I did good on the field, but I also did good in the community. I volunteered, I worked at food banks, and I helped people around in the homeless shelters and things. And I'm not sure if our kids are doing that yet, or enough at least. I think that's a pretty important component that we're probably starting to slip up on here while we chase that 4.5 GPA. And I think just kind of civic knowledge. 8th graders should know what compounding interest is so they don't get trapped in crazy credit card debt as soon as they're a freshman in college. So simple things like that, balance a checkbook, get them really revved up and ready for the world out there.
Thank you. Jerry, the next question will begin with you. With the ebbs and flows of enrollment, families are concerned about retaining their neighborhood schools. What would be your guiding principles and priorities in dealing with enrollment management across the schools?
Enrollment management. I think this is enrollment imbalance is certainly an issue in our district. We have Stockemeyer up north with over 1,000 kids. We have Blue Hills down in Saratoga that's dropped below 300. We have pending potential project coming at Valco in the sort of the Collins area that could dump another couple hundred kids into the area. I don't think I can, these are sort of the issues I don't think that I can give an answer to in 60 seconds. What I would do is outreach to the community. I think this is the kind of thing that's, boundary changes is always a touchy issue. And, what I'm hoping is that, one of the whole point of having the strategic plan is we can actually talk about what our shared goals are. Because what happens, I see, is we see a problem and we jump in, we try to optimize it without getting a shared understanding of what the facts are, what are the goals we're trying to get to. And so that's the process I would follow to resolve the enrollment issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori?
Yeah, so Jerry did a great job of defining some of the issues at play with our enrollment imbalance. I think that when it comes to our biggest challenges as a district, this is where community engagement is key. It must be a ongoing, proactive conversation with our community, looking to identify issues and more importantly, to seek common ground. Ultimately, as a extremely low-funded district, we are going to have to make tough choices around our enrollment, around our schools. And I think that's why it's critical that we have members of our Board of Education who are prepared to make the tough choices, but also to absolutely seek input and seek continuous engagement with the community as a part of that process. I think neighborhood schools are the foundations of our communities here in CUSD, and so important.
Thank you very much. Will?
Housing. Housing's a big issue. We can't all live in $4 million McMansions. Some of us are going to have to rent, like my wife and I, and that's okay. We need to have more housing that's affordable for our teachers, for our janitors, for our mechanics. We can't have people driving in from Manteca to be teachers, like one of my wife's colleagues at the high school district. It's just too far. It's a California problem. It's a Bay Area problem. Affordable housing's a real issue that we have to stop ignoring. So spread it out. Let's get some density. Let's get some affordable apartments that people can actually get into.
Thank you. Satish?
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody touched up, but I think it needs more discussion, right? It is a touchy subject, actually. There is no single solution for solving this issue, because this needs more discussion. It may take time, right, for us to get into the real solution for that. But there are plenty of things which could be you can make now. For example, we have a lot of in CUSD itself. We have multiple schools, which is not neighborhood school today, if you see it, which is an alternative school program. We can probably opening up for that. But I'm not providing a solution here. But I'm just in the pot here, saying that something of that kind, make people to have some attractive program everywhere where people can try going if they are interested in something. Oh, and different such things probably we will be able to think and brainstorm and bring it in.
Thank you. Jerry?
I think I've already gone, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. My bad. Lori, excuse me. You're next. You'll have the next question. How can Cupertino Union deal with recruiting high-quality teachers to our high-cost environment?
That's a good one. So absolutely, hiring and retaining quality professionals is critical to our success as a district. Compensation matters, but I think if we all think about our own professional careers, we also know that when you feel supported, when you feel respected, when you feel like what you are doing matters, when you feel like you are being listened to, when you feel like your input is being included in the decision making, those are all things that lead to a district where teachers will want to spend their careers with us. I think that professional development matters. I think giving our teachers opportunities to not only express what they view their professional track as looking like, but also what their goals are for themselves, and then encouraging and helping them achieve those goals is also something that would make us an attractive district for educators to spend their time with us.
Thank you very much. Will?
Did I mention housing yet? Yeah, it's a real issue. It's getting harder to live here, guys. It's getting much harder. So we can only do so much with salaries because we're limited on what we get from the state and everything else. So having great packages, it's not as easy, you know? Google has all their fun stuff, all their perks. School boards can't do that. We do not have the public funds available. So what can we do? We can maybe subsidize housing. Let's look at it, you know? Let's not shut it down so fast like we did with West Valley. Let's check this Valco thing out. Let's see what happens over there. Maybe we can keep some people here. Get teachers paid the right salaries. They should be making just as much as these tech folks over in the engineering world, and doctors and lawyers. Get them the right salaries. They'll stick around.
Thank you. Satish?
Yep. So I think one of my 5 priorities which I put was staff development. Definitely the staff development comes in picture here. So people, even for me, myself, like I won't just go based on the salary what I get it. I need to have a good environment for me to work, for me to be succeed, for me, and while doing the job, what I'm learning, or after 10 years of work, what I learned. So these are probably the facilities, the professional development, and the pride itself, like on what they are doing. That's what, as an administrators, we should be doing it. We should give them an environment that will definitely excel their career or their pride and so on. Definitely compensation is a big one, and there are challenges on that which we need to look into. But at the same time, see what are the other ways and means, how we are better than our neighboring school district, how our teachers would come here and do it. So by working in CUSD, is there something better they are getting it other than the money? That's what we should be projecting as.
Thank you. And now, Jerry.
Sure. So, you know, in the corporate HR world, there's a thing called, there's a psychologist named Maslow, and there's a Maslow theory of needs. It's a pyramid, right? And at the bottom are basically, you know, you need to be able to survive. And at the top of that pyramid is really things like self-actualization. What is it that you want to fulfill? Now, I think, you know, where we are with our revenue limit district, we're just not, you know, frankly, it's hard for us to be competitive and outpace some of the other districts. But we need to do an adequate job there. So that's the first thing. But I think the second thing here is there's more to a job than compensation. There's a quality of life, and there's basically helping the teachers through professional development. One of the things when I talk to the teachers at the schools is a lot of it is around just the bureaucracy, things that take time away from the things they want to do. And if we were to kind of, you know, get rid of some of that, it would really help them. And last thing is just, you know, in our PTA, we just helped a teacher, which is funded. She had always wanted to put together a Lego club, and we gave her $1,000 to do that. And first pictures came in wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Will, the next question will begin with you. There's a potential for up to 4 new trustees on the Cupertino Union Board. What opportunities and challenges does this present?
Oof. Hey, Phyllis, are you ready to have a bit of a hard time? Yeah. So Phyllis will be our senior advisor, pretty much. She'll be left there alone if Liang wins and rolls off to City Council. So yeah, challenges, we're all going to be green, and we all have to learn the ropes of this thing. Lori, sure, she's been there, she's had experience there as a participant, but not fully engaged in it. So we're all going to have a big learning curve. But at least most of us have some board experience in things, so we understand the bureaucracy and the rules around it. Back to getting to know the whole district. This is a big district. I think I've heard a stat that it's the largest in Northern California. And getting out to 25 schools within a year, it's going to be tough, but if you have a loose enough schedule, you can make it happen. So that's really where I'm going to focus.
Thank you. Satish?
Definitely what I understand is definitely we need to have 5 board members. You don't have a choice there, right? So what is the best out of that? Like even if you don't have a 4th person, that what you do that, right? So I think what I would propose or I would do is like without burdening the district already, which is already bleeding, is there any better way for us to resolve this issue? Definitely, as Will said, that we have to definitely tap a lot of expertise from the others, like, you know, whose experienced people around, like Phyllis and others. So we should see that how we can run. At the same time, see that whether we can, as per the, I think, requirement, we need to have the 5th person or the 4th person in this case, and see that what is the best way how we can recruit.
Thank you very much. Jerry.
All right, sure. I guess Diane's happy that we're sort of assuming she wins her city council race with this question, but I'll just go with that. I actually see a lot more opportunities and challenges. I think we're very lucky to have Phyllis Vogel continuing on the board. She is a professional. She's worked in the district, and so I think in terms of someone who understands the business, if I had to pick one person to sort of guide the rest of the board, it would be Phyllis. Okay, and then I think the next other factor here is the arrival of a new superintendent. I think the last couple of years in this district, I think however you see things, I would say controversial is probably a good word that most people would agree, and I think this allows us to, with the sort of start a new chapter. And one of the reasons for me wanting to run this time is really to have an opportunity to work with a superintendent and new board to really set a new direction. I think from what I've seen so far of Dr. Baker, I'm very hopeful that this is it's going to be great. I actually really don't see challenges per se, but I'm very happy about all the new opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lori.
Yeah, so certainly the challenge is continuity of leadership, right? And I think everybody has identified that we are especially proud of and thankful for Phyllis's leadership there. But I also think that when you are choosing your next board members, skills like leadership skills, collaboration skills, picking somebody who is known to be a listener and a team player, and somebody who is interest-driven, not necessarily position-driven, somebody who is not just looking to put forward their own position on something, but really to look for the interests of the community and to drive those forward in setting new policy will be important. I think somebody who is open to working collaboratively, not only with the board, but with the superintendent. And I'm going to end there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Satish, the next question will begin with you. What, if anything, should be done to reduce school-created traffic congestion?
So one thing is which we have been always trying. Definitely, walking is an option and biking is an option, which we have been trying. Actually, as a PTA leader, which I have been trying this for 8 years back. I started this and continued in Kennedy. In Kennedy, we did a Bolt program. I know some of you must be knowing this. We used to count how many kids are walking and coming, kind of. And in Monta Vista, as a PTA president, what I am doing is we have a traffic controller right now, right? And we are inviting the safe route to school and many initiatives which is already in the city level which is taken. We are encouraging. So I think my proposal would be here is to first of all we need to have a safer path for people to walk, kids to walk, right? Like we do not want them to be without enough sidewalks and other things. We need to create a safer environment and encourage them to walk or bike.
Thank you.
Would you mind, Tracy, repeating the question, please?
I'd be happy to. What, if anything, should be done to reduce school-created traffic congestion?
Right. So in preparing for this, I reviewed some of the past forums, and traffic keeps coming up in every single one of these. So it's a long-standing problem, and I believe it's a structural one. Because fundamentally, the schools and the roads were built at an earlier time when there were a lot fewer folks, okay? So with that said, I think if I were on the board, one of the things I would do would be to reach out to work with respective city councils. The school traffic, the school power sort of ends at the school boundary, and I have a lot of experience with this where the principals was really helpless to be able to do much outside of that. So first would be to work with the city councils. I think there's, at the schools I've been at, there's been a number of things that we've been able to do, sort of out-of-the-box thinking to sort of spread out, to sort of help with the traffic. Primary problems, you have a hot spot with cars, right? So things like safe routes to school, encouraging more biking and walking, encouraging kids through rewards and teacher reminders to do that. And then maybe thinking about extended releases to spread out the time the kids leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lori?
So absolutely, I've heard safe routes to school come up a couple of times, and anybody who knows me knows that that's been something which I've tried to stay very informed of in this district and work hard at being a part of the solution there. Certainly education matters. Having a safe routes to school curriculum in our schools is something that we do not have a universal solution across our district for right now. Making sure that all students in our schools are getting that same opportunity for that education, as well as for the routes. And the district must play a role, I think, in helping to identify where we can be partners. Traffic is a regional problem. It will require regional solutions. And so being able to work with our surrounding cities, with our jurisdictions, with our agencies, to look for where we might have opportunities to partner for grant funding, where we might have opportunities in our next bond to maybe address infrastructure changes that might improve traffic flow in and out of our schools. All of those things will be critical to improving student safety and traffic.
Thank you very much. Will.
This is a funny one. I just changed my tune on this one just today. At first, I was all about bringing school buses back, but it's a little antiquated and it's expensive. And what I just learned from Hung is that at the high school level, they are piloting a Lyft type app where people can carpool. And you're vetted and you're safe. So that's less cars. Kids are getting in cars with parents already, so you might as well maximize those cars. Instead of one-on-one, let's get more bodies into these vehicles. Yeah, a regional bus line, cool. If VTA doesn't want to help us out, or Caltrain or any of the other ones, let's form our own with the 6 cities that we deal with, if we can. But for now, I really think the tech option might be a pretty good one to consider, and we should not ignore that.
Thank you. Now we'll turn to the question that we gave the candidates in advance to give them the opportunity to comment on something they did not get asked about this evening. So Jerry, you'll be the first to respond. Would you please state and answer a question you wish you had been asked this evening?
Sure. My question would be, why do you think CUSD is such a great school district? And my answer is, it's because of the people. It's people like Hui, a PTA mom, who volunteers for everything she can and does everything with such meticulous, loving care. It's people like Daryl, a science teacher who goes out of his way to pack his classroom with the latest technology so that his students get excited about STEM. It's people like Sheila, a librarian who scrambles to maintain a great collection for her students, even though for years she's gotten no material budget from the district. And it's people like Anne, a new principal who comes into a distrustful community and turns it into an enthusiastic one because she listens and she takes action. And I think it's because of people like that and thousands across the district whom I haven't met yet that makes this school district so great. And I want to be on the board to be able to help these folks do the things that they do so well for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori.
Yeah, so I think the question that I'd ask and answer is, what is your commitment to serving on CUSD's board? I'm a big believer in actions speaking just as loudly as words. I have dedicated myself to service in this district for the majority of the last decade, leveraging both my leadership and my professional skills for the benefit of kids in this community. I'm committed to the promise of public education. I believe it is the foundation of not only our democracy, but of the American dream. Every child needs resources, support, mentorship, and love to thrive. That happens best when our communities, our parents, our school district, and our elected officials come together in partnership for kids. The challenges that we face as a school district will change over time, but what will not change is my commitment to listening, to seeking input, to finding common ground. I am grounded in the shared history of this community, and I'm committed to our future, and that is my commitment to CUSD.
Thank you very much. Will?
Yay, what a great segue, Lori, because that is exactly what I was going to say. Okay, you two, you have full-time jobs. You have crazy commitment levels. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you have the time to do this? Are you sure you're ready? Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Satish.
I'll start with I'm ready. Okay. So I think the question, again, it's a good start for me also, right? I think what I would say is like how my experience would directly benefit the functioning of this board. Okay. And as I told you, I have been an engineering leader, community leader, PTA leader. Wherever I am, I have been a leader. Okay. And I was a natural leader, not a nominated leader or pushed by somebody. Okay. Wherever I am, I was asked to take it, right? And I think I truly represent the community and the parents. And I understand what they are looking for in terms of transparency, communication, and so on. I have learned a lot of leadership skills organizing skills, consensus-based decision-making, and negotiation. So I think with all this quality, I'm sure I can influence the board.
Thank you very much. Please join me. I did catch you. Yes. Please join me in a round of applause to thank the candidates for participating tonight. The candidates will remain after the forum to give you a chance to talk to them individually. You may also pick up their literature in the lobby. Please visit lwvcs.org in the coming days to find the video for tonight's forum. Go to the calendar. On the website, scroll down for the listing for this event, and you will find the forum link. I also encourage you to check out votersedge.org, formerly Smart Voter. This is the League of Women Voters election information website. Among the valuable information, it includes content on the money behind politics at the federal and state level. More information will be added to Voters Edge throughout October, especially for local contests and measures. I want to thank you all for coming this evening, and also thank the people who sent in questions by mail. We greatly appreciate the City of Cupertino for the use of Community Hall and for their wonderful TV crew who makes this forum available to Cupertino voters. We hope tonight's forum has helped you with your voting decisions, and if you like this event and would like to help with future forums, please visit our table in the lobby. At that table, you will find a flyer listing more election events. Last and most importantly, please remember to vote on November 6th. Thank you all very much.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late...
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Hey, it's Ava and this is Tess from Do Your Selfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old pile of t-shirts.
It's not garbage, it's actually a new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
And glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life.
And recycle.
The League of Women Voters of Cupertino-Sunnyvale presents the Fremont Union High School District Board of Education Candidate Forum 2018, live from the Cupertino Community Hall. And now for tonight's moderator, Tracy Edwards.
Welcome to this candidate forum for Fremont Union High School District. I'm Tracy Edwards from the League of Women Voters and will be moderating tonight's forum. The League of Women Voters hosts forums like this to allow voters to see candidates and to hear them address questions of interest to the public. Our goal is to enable voters to learn about candidates so they can make informed choices. The League of Women Voters never endorses or opposes a candidate or a political party. 3 of the 5 seats on the Board of Trustees for Fremont Union High School District are up for election this November. All 6 candidates are here tonight. They are Benai Fordestor, Mina Judakanda Gajula, Rosa Kim, Naomi Nakano Matsumoto, Don Sun, and William Wilson, who goes by Bill. Voters in the school district may vote for 3 of these candidates. 3 candidates that get the most votes this November will be elected to the school board. The candidates have agreed to a format and ground rules for tonight's forum, and the format is simple. I will pose a question to the candidates, and each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond. A timer seated in the front row will give the candidates visual signals to help them pace their responses. The questions for tonight's forum were developed by a team of league members based on their own research and questions submitted by the public via email. Since we received ample questions from the public in advance, we are not collecting more questions from the audience tonight. The forum is being recorded and aired live on the city and the Cupertino City channel. The ground rules ask that the candidates do not use forum recordings for campaign purposes. We also encourage the audience not to record the forum because we want it to be viewed in its entirety. We'll tell you how to access the forum video at the end of tonight's program. Finally, we ask that the audience refrain from displays of support or opposition. Please hold your applause until the end of the forum. We'll now turn our attention to the candidates. Thank you all very much for running for office and for participating tonight. Each candidate will provide an opening statement. The speaking order for the opening statements was determined by random drawing and will be from left to right, starting with Rosa. Rosa, your opening statement, please.
Hi, my name is Rosa Kim. I spent past 15 years at school as a parent, and my son is a FUHSD student. For the past 10 years, I serve as a teacher and principal of the Silicon Valley Korean School, which has been located at Cupertino High School for 22 years. With over 1,000 students and 200 volunteers. I focus on educating them to grow as respectful community members. Together with my team, I run a financially solvent school with a well-planned curriculum, and I'd like to use my experience to contribute to the district. As a board member, I'd like to reinforce students' mental wellness program. I major in educational psychology, and I know how important their mental well-being is to their future success. As a board member, I would like to incorporate all the students' voice into the district policies by proactively reaching out, listening, and making best action.
Thank you. Bill?
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, and thank you to the League of Women Voters and for putting on this event, and thank you all for coming. So I was first elected to the Fremont Union High School District Board in 2006, and I'm currently board president. So I think the real question is, why am I running again? Well, I think shortly it's because I really love this district, and because I think we built a really solid foundation. And of the three of us whose terms are up this time, 2 are not running this time. I really appreciate the work Hung Wei and Barbara Nunes have done to build a strong foundation, but I believe we need some continuity to build on this foundation to take us forward. We're going to have even more challenges in the future, and I think it helps to have someone around who's seen what worked and maybe what not so much. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mina?
Hi. Thank you for hosting and inviting me for the forum. My name is Mina Jitakonda. I'm a resident of Sunnyvale for 18 years. I am a mother of 2 children and a current parent of FUHSD and CUSD. I have been a community leader of the district for over a decade. I am served on PTA as a president and many other roles. I'm a Boy Scout and a Girl Scout leader. I coach basketball for Cupertino and Sunnyvale. I believe in strengthening our schools. My own education background is I have a master's degree in accounting, economics, and business. I have a diploma in software engineering, and I have a coursework in child studies and communication. If elected, I will focus on maintaining our excellent schools.
Thank you. Benaifer?
Hi, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, League of Women Voters, and thank you, audience. I am Benaifer Dastur. I, as a parent of 2 children, know how much we care for our children, their education and wellness. Over the past 13 years, I have worked extensively with teachers, students, parents in our school district. As a parent leader, as a president of booster organizations, PTAs at the school and the council level, I have worked with the community. I am on the school district Citizen Advisory Committee and the Wellness Task Force, which tackles the important issue of enrollment and student stress. My priorities are excellent education for all students with student wellness at the forefront, and that is achieved by recruitment and retaining of great teachers, collaborative approach, and having community involvement in our school district. I hope to get your support. I have support of a cross-section of parents, students, and elected board officials. Thank you so much.
Don?
Thank you, League of Women Voters, for organizing this forum for the community. My name is Don Sang. My mom was an elementary school teacher for her whole life, and she told me to study hard and help others. I went to Renmin University to receive my master's degree in statistics and urban planning. Pursuing higher education, I went to University of Pennsylvania to finish my master's degree in economics. Moving to the East Coast to the Stanford University, I do the Hoover research, and at the meantime, I finished my law degree in the Peninsula Law School. I spend most of my time in volunteer for the community. I'm currently on the Cupertino Rotary Club as a board member and the president for the Cupertino Historical Society, and 8 years on the Planning Commission, twice as the chair. I have 2 boys graduated from Fremont Union High School District. I'm going to continue to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Naomi?
Good evening. Thank you, Tracy, and the League of Women Voters, and for all of you for coming tonight. It's amazing the people that come, and that's one of the nice things about this community is how engaged the community is. I'm Naomi Nakano Matsumoto, and I'm really very grateful for this opportunity to be a candidate of the Fremont Union High School District Board. My 3 kids were lucky to have graduated from Homestead High School, and Fremont Union High School District is one of the top districts in the nation, and I want to work to keep it the best. My motto is BEST, B-E-S-T, being the beacon of excellence for students and teachers. And in doing that, in that, doing what's best, being the best, and staying the best. And that's what I'm committed to do. What I bring to the students in our district is I've been a nonprofit executive in management for 25 years. most of this time here in this county. I have governance experience, having served
Naomi,
as a
thank you
commissioner.
very much. Bill, the next question will begin with you. What demonstrated prior experiences make you qualified for this board role?
Well, I have the board experience, which I think will be helpful because it has shown me some things. So why don't I go into a couple of other things? So along the way, I was a CEO of a company, and running a company gave me some insights which I think are useful with the district. It's not that the district is a company, the objectives are different. It's success for all of our students. But to get there, you have to create an organization that works together, and that's similar to a business. Also, putting in place a strong budget and staying to that, working within our means, and using those dollars to get the best results for our kids. I think I learned that along the way. And more recently, I've had the chance to go back to one of my first loves, which was teaching mathematics. So I'm teaching a class at De Anza College, and that gives me a chance to see what our students need to succeed after they leave our schools. And it also gives me a chance to see what a great community college system we have.
Thank you very much. Mina?
As I mentioned in my opening statement, I have been an active member in the school and community. Based on my experience in working with parents, students, teachers, and administrators, I have insight into the schools. As a coach and a scout leader, I interact with kids to mentor them, train them, and build character. Having a background in accounting, I know the realities of working with the budget, and I understand the financials. All this has prepared me to move forward to have effectively served the community. In the same way I've effectively served our children. Over the last decade, I easily attended over 100 board meetings in various organizations, all supporting the kids, and I fully understand how to operate effectively within the board structure.
Thank you very much. Ben Eifert?
I'm running for the Fremont Union High School District Board because I care. I care for our students, for our children, and for our teachers and the entire school community. Working for 13 years since the time my kids started school, I have dedicated myself to our public schools, to strengthening them, giving all that I could, working collaboratively with the school community. The experience, the depth and the breadth of my experience and involvement with the school community, along with my professional experience in finance, allows me to help the school district to continue on the path of maintaining its excellence and serving our students well. That is one of the reasons I'm running, and that is, I think, a great responsibility and something that I've used to working collaboratively with all the community, which I can bring to the school district. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don?
Yeah, besides the volunteer work, I have been on the planning commission for 8 years, twice as chair. So I know how government function and how to build consensus with your colleague. There's a lot of challenge during the Cupertino Planning Commission meeting, but I know it's when we respect to each other, build consensus, it's a very important factors. I want to bring this experience immediately bring to the Fremont Union High School Board, and also I'm president of a historical society. I truly believe bring the older generation together is needed the students from high school all to the seniors community. That's why I take the presidency of there. And I think beside this one, I'm also working at the Cupertino Rotary Club. There's many friends in this room. We build the community together. That's why I want to get this serving above self to the community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Naomi?
I'm a social worker, and I'm a social justice advocate and an educational advocate. I have 25 years of experience running nonprofits and have worked on contracts, budgets, and program management. I have also been a school social worker, having been placed in the schools. I've also placed counselors in schools as a nonprofit leader. And from a very practical, from a parent perspective, I have volunteered in the schools since my kids were in preschool, and have, in my last 4 years, have served on the PTSA Executive Committee and worked on higher level executive positions.
Thank you very much. Rosa.
Yeah, I have taught students in the classroom, and I ran school as principal. And I saw, thousands of students growing from our feeder school to the high school to college, and it was really valuable experience for me to observe them and and help them. And I used the actually district facility, and I fully understand the current issue of the facility. One time, I saw rain dropping from the ceiling. So, and lastly, I have experience of publishing a series of textbooks, and I also hosted a teacher seminar in the district office for 9 years, and I know how to support our teachers and staff.
Thank you very much. Mina, the next question will begin with you. How will you stay informed of the needs of the constituents across the entire district?
Can you repeat the question?
Certainly. How will you stay informed of the needs of the constituents across the entire district?
The most important goal, from my experience, apart from setting the visions and goals, adopting policies and overseeing annual budget, the board should be responsible to the values and beliefs and priorities of the community, maintain transparency and accountability, provide support, have two-way communication and with the community. The core value of mine is to support and inspire all students to reach their goals. All voices should be heard. We should strive together as a team to achieve our common goals. In all years of my leadership, one of the biggest achievements was working together as a team with other board members and bringing the community together in support of our students, programs, and all this was possible with involving the community by building their trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Benaifer?
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure. How will you stay informed of the needs of the constituents across the entire district?
Yes. So I am a grassroots parent. I have put in 13 years in the school district from the time my kids were in kindergarten. I have not only worked as a volunteer, which I enjoyed a lot, worked in the classrooms, listened to the teachers, listened to the parents, listened to the students. As I volunteered on the PTSA board, became the PTSA president, whether it's at the council or the school level. I've also been a president at the council level. What I do is collaborate, listen to the students, because that's how you can be an effective leader. That's how you bring in effective programs that can serve your students, that can serve the parents. The other thing is I am a part of several committees which has parents, students, teachers, administrators, like the Citizen Advisory Committee, like the Student Wellness Task Force, where we are like 30 people, 40 people listening to each other's voice, bringing in the community, and that's how you solve problems, that's how you involve community, and that's the way I would go about as a board trustee, keep the community involved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don?
Yeah, I'm very optimism, and I think there's several things that happened in the past 10 years in our community, both in the school and in the cities. As the planning commissioner, I have seen so many polarized and extreme the argument, but I always think it's like a community advisory committee. It should be CAC should be one of a form and put the committee together and bring all the stakeholders together, openly discuss. There is always a solution for any challenge issue. As long as we couldn't reach the maximum benefit, we can always reach minimum damage. So there's always have a compromise we can face and deal with the issues. That's why it's each time on the planning commissioner, most time is in the past 8 years, we almost reach, most time we can reach consensus and
Thank you
vote.
very much, Don.
Thank you.
Rosa.
Naomi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Naomi, excuse me.
So one of my skills as a social worker is community development and community engagement. And working in the community is very near and dear to me and something that I like to do because I like to get my hands dirty in a sense. And so I feel comfortable working in very diverse communities And I think that this school district has very diverse communities, all the way from the foothills of Cupertino and to North Sunnyvale. And I have always been a proponent and an advocate of making sure that all communities are heard, all communities are brought to the table, and all communities feel that they have value when they come to the table. And so simple things like having meetings out in a neighborhood where families and parents can get to, as opposed to maybe at the district office, because many of our parents, although maybe working, have hourly jobs as opposed to salary positions, and aren't always able to have the luxury to come to an afternoon meeting or early meeting or take off work to do things. And so being able to be out in the community is very important. And so I would make sure that
Thank you very much. Thank you. Rosa.
Finally. Yeah, my campaign slogan is reach out, listen, and act. Well, I think open and transparent communication is really helpful, and it's best tool we can we can include all the stakeholders and our students and staff and parents and their ideas. And these days, I'm a part of the WASC committee as a parent volunteer, and then I could have a chance to meet with teachers. And then they mentioned about in their actually, I talked with the new teacher, and then he wanted to have more the communication or with the experienced teachers, and it was really helpful for me. And then also, I would like to incorporate students' voice in the district policy, so we can have more rules to listen to students' ideas and thoughts for our schools.
Thank you very much. Bill?
Yeah, so it's a very good question, because our district is actually quite large. It includes almost all of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, a lot of western San Jose, and some parts of some other cities. So really staying in touch with people is a challenge. So I think you have to do a lot of things. I think you have to be out at community events in order to see people where they are. I think you have to be at the school sites as frequently as you can for activities to interact with parents and students and teachers at those places. And we continue to try new things. We started doing something we call board office hours, and we'll see how effective that is in reaching out to people. But it's a chance for 2 board members to go meet with people in a setting which is not subject to the formal constraints of a meeting, and of a board meeting. And the citizen advisory committees, which were suggested, I think have also proven to be a really effective tool for our district. It's a chance for people to drill down on a subject and really become better informed.
Thank you very much. Now, for the next question, we'll begin with you. What are your goals and priorities for the district?
My top priorities for the school district, or for our school community, what I would say is excellent and comprehensive education for all our students, while keeping the student wellness at the forefront. And that ties into the priority of getting recruitment and retention of great teachers and supporting all their needs, collaborating with all the stakeholders, parents, teachers, students, administration, because that's how you get things done, and accountability and transparent in all operations and communication. That is so important, because if you have a transparent communication, you can involve the community in. You can give them all the information that is needed for them to accept a decision and to contribute to a decision or a solution. So that's what my priorities are, revolve around the word care. Collaboration, accountability, retention of great teachers, and excellent education with student wellness at the forefront.
Thank you very much. Don?
Yeah, I don't set up a so particular priority. I just want to continue working with the current board member, continue their excellence, and working with the superintendent, working with the teacher, working with the parents, and there's always a question, there's always a priority changes, but I dedicated commit to working with all the people. Anything is we commit here, it can be changed, but I think it's my previous experience in working in the community, will prove that I will be working with the current board, future board, and make sure it's working with the superintendent in the future, and make sure our school district continue their excellence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Naomi?
Okay, thank you. My priorities are to maintain this very quality high school district, and with that, looking at the equity and quality of education for all of our students, resources and professional development opportunities for our teachers and our staff, being fiscally responsive and responsible, and the lens that I think I bring that's very different is I would champion social-emotional learning and social-emotional health and well-being. I think that's in a district that is very high-performing. There is a lot of stress and anxiety amongst our students. I know this personally because I've placed counselors in the schools. I was the executive director for CHAC for a year, and we place students in the schools and know what these students are facing. And so I'd like to be able to champion that and be able to make sure that social emotional health is...
We're going to pause because of the microphone. When we come back, we'll give you 15 seconds. I'll repeat the question so that, Naomi, you can finish your comment. So Bruce, we'll give 15 seconds for her to finish her response. We'll give 15 seconds for Naomi to finish her response.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, Naomi, I'm going to repeat the question, then you'll have 15 more seconds to complete your response. What are your goals and priorities for the district?
Okay, thank you. I'd like to just finish up by saying that I think that I want to make sure that getting those A's and A+s are not at the cost of, our child's health and well-being. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Rosa?
I have many chances to interact with students from the district. They love their schools, but at the same time, they feel stress from very strong academic environment. And I can also see, this high school period is really critical for them because after they graduate, they are alone. They need to manage their, themselves, especially their stress. They need to handle their stress alone. And I see, many college students, they drink a lot, and sometimes they resort to drugs, and they don't know how to solve, how to relieve their stress. I think at high school, we need to give them more chances to educate how to solve their stress, and we need to give more mental wellness program.
Thank you very much. Bill?
So certainly our goal is to meet the needs of all students, and the other speakers have said some very important things along the way. I guess I would describe my priorities in terms of, first, continuing to be able to attract and retain good teachers, outstanding teachers. We've done this by making what one of our people call us a destination district, by making it a district where there's a level of trust where people like to work, where there's support, where there's professional development. But we need to address the questions of this being a high-cost area and find more in terms of revenue and cost savings to be able to deal with salary and housing. We need to keep a sound budget. It's not just money, it's money for students, and that's what makes everything else go. And finally, and especially important, we need to keep our culture of collaboration, which is what enables our team to really be able to deal with the other very strong, very important priorities that have been mentioned here tonight.
Bill, thank you very much. Mina?
My top 3 priorities are creating internship, mentoring, and bring wellness programs for all students. When I say wellness programs, coming from a sports background, I know the benefits of participating in sports. and its connection to physical and mental well-being, which again enables students to achieve their goals to their full potential. These programs that will encourage critical thinking, teamwork, access to tutoring, internship, and mentoring, and engaging our knowledge-rich community to invest their time, great ideas, and energy to strengthen our high schools. Promote transparent parent communication, positive parent involvement. We should establish a strong communication structure, inform and engage all the stakeholders, like parents, administrators, teachers, students, and community members in setting goals, addressing parent communities' concerns constructively. Effectively use school resources to maintain excellence in our schools.
Thank you very much, Mina. Don, the next question will begin with you. What budget challenges do you see the district needing to address over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's compared with CUSD previously, it's, Fremont Union High School is in pretty good, healthy financial situation. But we have to understand our financial, the money that coming from, it's a basic aid system. That means that most of the money is coming from a property tax. Besides the property tax, we have also we have some other options, either at the personal tax or we can issue bond. So far, it's the challenge for the property tax is that we have the property value is raised a lot, but the people don't sell. It's the only realized property tax can be used for the school. Most of our school district money coming from Sunnyvale because Sunnyvale has a lot of investment and the property ongoing. That's we have a measure CC on the ballot, and I'm support measure CC to make sure it's our classroom can be built in the future.
Thank you, Don. Naomi?
Well, I think that there are, one of the things that we need to look at is to make sure that we are fiscally responsible as we make our decisions. And I believe that the budget is a moral document, and it really looks at what your priorities are. And so with that, if the measure CC doesn't pass, there are, and I'm hoping that it will because I've endorsed it, but, we would have to be looking at what we need to do then at that point. We need to look at other ways to generate revenue. We need to look at ways to be cost effective. As a nonprofit executive, those are all the things that I was tasked to do to make sure that we were on budget and look at creative and innovative ways to generate revenue. I know that there may, we're limited in the sense of what we are able to get from the state, but looking at ways that we can collaborate maybe and have partnerships so that we can bring other resources into the district.
Thank you very much. Rose?
Could you repeat the question, please?
I'd be happy to. What budget challenges do you see the district needing to address over the next 5 years?
For the district of finance, 85% to 90% from local property tax, and about 10% from parcel tax. And then we spend about 82% for our teachers and staff salary. So there's no room. I mean, we can reorganize our budget. So I think, as the previous candidates mentioned, the district needs more funds to update their 40-year-old classrooms, and currently doing a bond campaigning, Measure CC, and I also endorse that, and for the upcoming election, and we need, so we will see the result of the election, but definitely for to better offer better education for our students, we will need to have more fund for the facility.
Thank you very much. Bill?
Yes, thank you for the question, because sometimes, since the district has done a good job of managing its budget, people think just everything is rosy, and that's not the case. The fact is that, of course, California is in the bottom 10 in the state in funding, and even on a per pupil basis, and even though we're a bit above that, we're barely at the national average, and we're in a very high cost area as far as expenses. And We are facing a couple of things that are going to take more hits out of the budget due to some decisions the state made in the early 2000s. We need to catch up on funding the teacher and the employee retirement programs, and those amounts are going up dramatically. So we have to be able to deal with that. There are ways we can do things. We can reduce costs. We've done that with things like the solar panels you see. If we're successful this November with the new bond issue, we can do some more of that. We can renovate 400 old classrooms and bring them up to date so maintenance will be less, and that will help us free up some more funds.
Thank you. Mina?
Like Bill mentioned, we do have budget issues, or there are situations where we do have budget situations. In my educational training in accounts, I have learned planning plays a big role in preparing an accurate budget. Be clear about your goals, plan for various scenarios, involve your entire team, communicate early, and overall be fiscally responsible. My experience as a treasurer and my educational background enables me to understand the financials and contribute my insights to a given financial situation. I will ensure that taxpayers' dollars are invested wisely to achieve student excellence.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Benaifer?
Yes. So the budgetary problems. Our district, fortunately, is well financially managed, and that, as a parent and as a taxpayer, I am very happy about it. Do we need to continue doing that and tap into other resources? Would there be problems in the future? There could be, because the property tax structure is such. With the expansion of rental units all around us, whether it's Sunnyvale, and we do need them as affordable housing, but with that, we need to explore things that can shore up our budgets. Something we need to advocate at a higher level at the state, whether we can drop the parcel tax approvals below 66% so that we can shore up the compensation for our teachers so that we can retain them if our budgetary things do not allow us beyond. We have a huge student base. We need to fund programs. We need to put resources in the classroom. So there are so many challenges that can come down the line, and we need to work.
Thank you very
much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Naomi, the next question is for you, and it's kind of long. One of the beliefs of Fremont Union says, and I'm going to quote it, maintaining our excellence requires that we commit to ensuring high levels of learning for all students, learning that is not limited to the knowledge and skills measured on state and national assessments. Within the context of that statement, how will you ensure that all students are given the opportunity to learn at the highest levels?
That's a good question. I think that it's important that we have good community engagement and parent engagement. One of the things that, as I sit on the WASC team at Homestead High School, one of the goals was to bring up the four-year college entrance of the Latino community. But as you sat in that room, there were no Latino parents in that room. And so how do we work with achieving that goal when we aren't engaged with the community? So with that, I also want to say that, again, the social emotional learning is very important to me. And so I would work to see that the entire classroom and school and district environment really promoted that, and work with teachers, and also, to me, it's also important that we work with the whole school, and so...
Thank you very much. Thank you. Rosa?
Trace, I'm sorry, it was a long question, but could you repeat the question, please?
One of the main beliefs of Fremont Union says, and I'm going to quote it, maintaining our excellence requires that we commit to ensuring high levels of learning for all students, learning that is not limited to knowledge and skills measured on state and national assessments. Within the context of that statement, how will you ensure that all students are given the opportunity to learn at the highest levels?
Well, one nice thing about living in Silicon Valley is many parents are working at high-tech companies and influencing their children tremendously. We can develop more school programs that parents can volunteer, and we can develop, I think, with our parents, expertise, we can make more, various programs at district, especially not just STEM education. We need to have a more variety of program like art, sports, and music. That kind of comprehensive program that will be really helpful for their long life, and then it will be really make them have more opportunities to learn about their life goal, and it will be helpful. So I'd like to reinforce that kind of various enrichment program.
Thank you very much. Bill?
So first of all, thank you for bringing up the belief statement. It's, I would recommend to people that they go to the Fremont Union High School District website and look at that. I think it says a lot about our district, specifically for making sure we ensure high levels of learning for all students. First of all, it takes a lot of different programs to do that. We've got 11,000 students in our high schools. They're not all cut from the same mold. They have different needs, and we need to meet those needs. So we have our comprehensive high schools that serve the vast majority of our students, but we have a number of other programs. And within those, we have things like the AVID program for students who might be first-time college goers to teach them study skills. So a lot of programs. Also, we do a lot of work with teachers on this. Just this last we've just done an equity focus to make sure our teachers understand how to reach out to, and staff understand how to reach out and make sure that everybody is being included. We have professional learning communities where teachers can come together to make sure they're meeting the needs of all students.
Thank you. Mina?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question again?
And we will not write a long question again. One of the beliefs of Fremont Union says, and I quote, "Maintaining our excellence requires that we commit to ensuring high levels of learning for all students, learning that is not limited to the knowledge and skills measured on state and national assessments. Within the context of that statement, how will you ensure that all students are given the opportunity to learn at the highest levels?"
Thank you. So I believe in equity. All students should have access to all the resources. Each child learns differently. And I believe that every child has to be taught in the manner they would learn. Our priorities are not one. We have interlinked priorities. We have several of them. For instance, parent involvement. Teacher having resources for teaching excellent, giving excellent training to our students, creating wellness programs. All these lead to our top goal, student success. As an active parent in district, I agree with most of the experts that parent involvement in their children's education is one of the biggest predictors for student success. We should utilize individual strength of each parent. I believe in leaving no child behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Benifra?
So our school district has a very high graduation rate, that's 96%. But we do have achievement gaps for our English learners, for our students with disabilities, and students from low-income population. Children are our future, and I believe that every child, whatever background they come from or where they belong, they need access to high-quality public education and an opportunity to succeed. What we can do as a school district is use our general funds, and I believe it's being done, to have targeted intervention programs for these students, to have monitoring of achievements of these students so that the families can be involved and they can be helped. There could be a student success teams for these students. We need to raise all our children up so that the achievement results are equal to the rest of the population of our school district, and I think our school district can manage to do that.
Thank you very much. Don?
Yeah, I think this is our school district mission statement that we want to achieve the academic equality. And before coming to this forum, I visited 5 high school principals' office, have conducted one-on-one interview with each principals. I know each schools will have all different differences, especially for the Fremont High, Homestead, compared with Lindbergh and Mountain Vista. It's all different, but I want all students can achieve academic excellence and receive comprehensive education. Let's not only talk about the priority, not only talk about equity. We just try to support the school and the superintendent and make a policy decision and the policy, public policy, make sure that we support the principal's general direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rose, the next question will begin with you. How can Fremont Union deal with recruiting high-quality teachers to our high-cost environment?
Well, I was a principal of language school. Always professional training is really critical to improve the education quality. So through my experience to host teacher seminar for local school teachers, I got to know many professors in local colleges. And then they're really willingly and they're really wanted to have a can teach program, well, actually to reach out to the local schools teachers and willingly to offer their professional knowledge. So I think, I can at the district, as a district board, I would like to reach out the local college and then have a program, to connecting our school district and the college professional staff, and then give them more professional training.
Thank you very much. Bill?
Yeah, so I touched on this a little bit before because I think it is a very important issue. I think there are a number of things we can do to make Fremont Union High School District a place where teachers want to work. That belief statement that you referred to earlier has been something that we've heard from some applicants that they saw that and they thought that's the kind of district where I want to work. And we've got a new teacher induction program, a teacher mentoring program that really help teachers feel like they're part of the district, makes them better teachers so that we bring in good people and make them even better. All of those things are valuable. We've got a culture of trust that's been built from respect and transparency, and I think the board has a big role in making sure we keep that going. But at the same time, there are hard issues that we have to deal with. We have to deal with the cost of living. We have to do everything we can to see if we can find increased revenues and bring down costs so that we can pay more. We have to help with housing. Look for partnerships. We can't build the housing by ourselves, but look for partnerships.
Thank you very much.
There.
Mina?
Well, I agree with Rosa that we need to empower our teachers with professional development, help them, give them resources to help in the classrooms, not wait until we come to an intervention program. Provide them with class aids so they can help students equally. Provide our teachers the tools to have our students be successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kneifer?
The way to recruit and retain our great teachers is the biggest thing I think would be compensation. Compensation matters. We need to find ways within our limited resources, either through community help or through parcel tax or whichever way, so that we can give them adequate compensation when they travel from Pleasanton, San Francisco, Santa Cruz. There are distances that they travel. We need to do something that will help them. Besides that, of course, we need to support all their needs, professional development. We need to create an environment where they feel respected, where they feel wanted. And that's one of the ways. Our revenue sharing model of our district is one way to show our teachers that we respect them, we want them with us. Of course, the housing affordability is the big problem, but the school district cannot go in the business of construction. So we need to work with the cities. We need to have partnership, like Bill said, to work out some way where we could have affordable housing for them, for the teachers who want to stay in our district. Thank you very much.
Don?
During the campaign, people keep making promise, but I don't want to making any promise for the teachers. But I'm sure it's in my past 8 years as a planning commissioner, I work with developer, work with cities. We try to solve the public servants' housing issues, and in the future, I'm also continue to advocate for the teachers' housing issue. But also, it's when I visit all the principals, they have so many different teachers' training programs, and this program is the deserve public policy and deserve our board member to support them. You know, it's on every position I take, I always have a lot of ideas, but here I just don't want to mention all the ideas I have. I'm going to working with the board member to make sure that every idea is that we can implement, that we can access, that we can make sure it's they realize. Thank you.
Thank you. Naomi?
As a nonprofit executive who recruits staff, I really understand how difficult this is. And nonprofit salaries are oftentimes even lower than teacher salaries, unfortunately. And so one of the things that I think that, and I agree with what the other speakers have said before me, but so in addition to making sure that salaries are competitive, it's really looking to show teachers, and I think what's important too is staff, because it's important to recruit quality staff, is to show them the value that they provide to our students and to our district. One of the things, and I want to emphasize quality, because as someone who has hired many people, you can tell the difference between someone who comes in and does this as a job as opposed to someone who does this as a passion. And so one of the things that I would like to do is be able to make sure that they are valued and compensated.
Thank you very much. So Bill, the next question will begin with you, and it's interesting that we begin with you on this one, because this is a question about the existing board's performance. Based on your experiences, and this is to the whole team here, in observing the current board or participating on it, what are they doing well? And if you're reelected or elected and become a trustee, what would you like to see changed?
Okay, well, that's an interesting one. Well, first of all, I've found it a pleasure to work on this board. And one of the things that I think is great about this board is that we have been able to work together, respect each other. We don't always come in with the same ideas, but we can discuss, and everybody has a sort of different background, a different perspective they bring to the table, and I think it winds up with better solutions as a group. And I think everybody on the board is committed to the best interests of all students. I think one of the things that we continue to work with is doing even more in terms of connecting with the community. I said we're experimenting with some things, the board office hours, which I think are a good idea, but maybe there's more that we can do. So as we go forward, I'd like to see us continue to work on that. We actually did a self-evaluation this year. We did okay on the marks, but we're going to continue to do that so that we can continue to get better.
Thank you very much. Mina?
I'm sorry again.
Yes, I'll distill it. Based on your experiences in observing the current board, what are they doing well? If you become a trustee, what would you like to see changed?
For sure, I would like to bring more of parent engagement, have the parent community get involved in more of the board meetings. When parents get involved, there's a huge difference. I would like to have open communication set, two-way communications, and yeah, pretty much. I'm not on the board, so it's hard to tell. Apart from setting the visions, like I mentioned earlier, vision and goals, adopting policies and overseeing annual budget, I think maintaining transparency and ensuring accountability, providing support is one of the most important things a board member can bring to the table. Thank you.
Beniford?
So I've attended countless of board meetings, sat through those 4 and 5 hours that they spent listening to the teachers, listening to the community members. I have even presented to the board meeting on behalf of the Citizen Advisory Committee the solution that we recommended, the Wellness Task Force, the solution that the team worked. I have been a part of those communication team. One thing, as a parent, because I'm not a board member, as a parent, I would say that our board members, the thing that I feel are they're very compassionate and they care for our students. I see the value, how they value the staff. They are always very respectful to see the staff presentations, and our staff are pretty innovative. So this is something I've seen. What could be done a little better? I would say a little bit more outreach, a little bit of more communication, because parents are really busy. If I did not go to these board meetings and I was not involved in these committees, for sure I would not know the amount of things that a school district does or has to do for our students. So that is one thing I would improve, the communication a bit more. Thank you.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, I appreciate at least 3 board members come in this room has been working together with me in the Rotary Club. I've been working with Jeff Moore as the co-chair for the youth community service in 2 years, and also it's Hong Wei is also my mentor to guide me on the public service. When I first moved to the Cupertino, Hong Wei have a coffee talk with me, says that we always put the community above ourselves. That's the 10 years ago talk, and also it's working with a community Rotary Club with Bill, Jeff, and Hong Wei. It's really builds the personal friendship and the trust, and make sure it's that we reach out to the higher level unity and build the community together. Thank you. I think that our board is very good. I'm going to continue this excellence working with every board, no matter all the.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Naomi?
I've been to not only the Fremont Union High School District Board meetings, but also have attended other district board meetings and city council meetings and county board meetings. And so one of the things that I've noticed is that the Fremont Union High School District Board is very collaborative and very collegial and really works very well together. They have a high level of respect for each other, and not only for each other, but for the team that they have built with the administration and the superintendent and the teachers union and the classified union and anyone else who comes to make presentations. One of the things that I also appreciate is that the board goes out into the community. They have board meetings out in each of the schools, which makes it easier for us to attend sometimes, and so I've been able to be in attendance when they've come to Homestead High School. And I think that's.
Thank you very much. Rosa?
Yeah, I recently I attended multiple district board meetings, and I'm always impressed by their hard work for long hours. They have meetings, and then they always go to they go to all the school sites and participate in the school events, and it was really impressive. And actually, when I talk with my neighbors in the community, when their children graduate from the schools, they don't feel any connection with school. So I know, our school is really great, but they don't know what's going on at schools. So I feel this connection between schools and community when after their children graduate from schools. So I think, our students can make initiative in connecting our schools and neighboring communities. They do sports games at school and they do have performance. Why not promoting their activities to neighboring communities?
Thank you very much. Mina, the next question will begin with you, and I'm going to ask all the participants for a very short answer on this one. Do you support bond measure CC? If yes, why? If no, why not?
I would trust the voters to make informed decisions with the information available, like just stated in the past. And that would be.
Thank you.
Yes, I support the measure CC because our schools were built in the 1950s, and it is time that our students got renovated classrooms and better heating systems and all the things that need to be worked on. So yes, I support measures.
Thank you very much. Don?
Right here, yesterday in this hall, I appreciate the Superintendent Polly Bowie and the Assistant Superintendent Graham, and also it's our school board members, Hong Wei is here. We conduct a town hall meeting here to teach people and educate people how Measure CC should be passed in this community. We have from 2008, we have a Measure K, and we have a Measure G, and also we have a Measure, we have a personal tax. We all go through the community oversight committee to oversee how we spend the money. It's time for us to have more money to build, modernize our classroom. That's why I support the Measure CC, and I hope all the residents here can have our community support to vote for yes for the Measure CC. That's the community's property value going to raise too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Naomi?
Yes, I support Measure CC. I also have a lawn sign in my, on my lawn, and so that's a public support of it also. I really believe in the modernization of our classrooms for the health and well-being of our students, and also making sure that the upgrades and the safety factors are taken care of.
Thank you very much. Rosa?
Yeah, the Measure CC, I support Measure CC, and this bond is really important to maintain the high quality education our students are receiving. And then, as I mentioned, I know, I mean, our classrooms are 40-year long, the classrooms, and then they really need renovated. I know, I mean, from my first experience, I taught in the classroom, and I could see lots of things to be renovated. And by the way, but I will follow with voting result and then take appropriate action. And yeah.
Thank you very much. Bill?
Yes, I strongly support Measure CC. So I think we've shown the community that we can handle the money well. We've done our facilities work on time and on budget and with the highest credit rating in the state of California for any school district, so that the money can go to classrooms instead of to interest. We've got over 400 classrooms that really haven't been touched since the 50s and 60s. They need upgrading. It will help the teaching and learning that goes on there, and it will also save us costs. If we upgrade the infrastructure, we don't have to do emergency repairs and with some of the damage that comes from that. So it saves operational costs as well.
Thank you very much. We're now going to turn to a question that we gave the candidates in advance to give them the opportunity to comment on something that we did not ask them about this evening. Benifer, we'll begin with you. Would you please state and answer a question you wish you had been asked?
Me?
Yes,
right?
please.
Yes. Yes, so I have the question that I think should be asked is, what are the challenges that us being a board district trustee involves? So as a board trustee, the biggest challenge that you encounter is you make a decision that impacts 11,000 students and families. In effect, essentially, you are a parent of 11,000 children. You have to balance the needs and the priority of diverse families that our school district has. So that is something that we need to take into account. As a school board district, it's not, as a school board trustee, it's not about I, it's about we. We need to be able to work collaboratively with our peers, with our school staff, with our community, so that we get to a better decision. Collaborative approach, accountability, transparency, community involvement is what I pledge to bring to the school board as a school board trustee. And that is what I would like to answer that question. Thank you.
Don?
Yeah, I would like people ask me as a trustee how you can help Fremont Union High School District Foundation, Education Foundation. People always think there's some money for the Fremont Union High School, but there's some money people couldn't use. That's why we need the Fremont Union High School District Foundation to chip in the money. I think it's at the fundraiser in the past 10 years to all kind of volunteer organization. I think it's my capacity and my passion. It's to do the fundraising for Fremont Union High School District Foundation. It's my plus. So I enjoy to help Fremont Union High School Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. Naomi?
I'd like to ask a different question, and it's a more personal question, but it gets to my commitment and my passion for students. And that question is, what is something that others may not know about me in this room? And it's that I volunteer in the jails. And I go there, and I've put it on hold right now for the last couple of months because I've been campaigning, but I go once a week and I provide Buddhist education to men at the main jail. And as I sit there, I see young men who have had opportunities that have been lost. And my commitment is that I do not want to see any student in the Fremont Union High School District sitting in any of those cells. And so I think education is a key to that. And, yes, sometimes people make poor choices, and some of the stuff that they are dealing with are obstacles. But I think that when we provide an education as a pathway, then
Thank you very much. Rosa, please.
Yeah, my question is, our district is providing a great education for our students. What are the ways we can do better to help students to be more successful overall? I have to mention that the district has strong academic environment, but there are voices for more comprehensive high school programs. We have to increase hours for mental and emotional wellness program and develop programs specifically to manage stress, like small group discussion session with a mentor teacher. For a comprehensive program, we need to provide more various programs, not just as a STEM program. So I think there are needs, from students. They want to learn more about various subjects, like cooking or more arts or that kind of program. So maybe we need to keep reinforcing our various programs, and we can also reach out to parents, volunteers.
Thank you. Bill?
Okay, so I may be preaching to the choir with this, but my question is, why should members of the community care about the schools, even if they do not have a child in the school system? So I think public institutions public schools are a core institution of our democracy. Of course, we want to do things to prepare students to be successful in a career, so they can be productive and they can have a they can have a fulfilling life, they can pay taxes, they can be contributing members of the community. But public schools, if done right, can do much more. They can engage students in the community in a way that is not possible with any other institution. They can bring people together so that they can learn how you work with people you disagree with, something we really need now. Especially in this community, bringing people together when we have the asset that we got people from all over the world. And if we bring people together in our public schools, we can really capitalize on that asset and help make this world a better place in the future.
Thank you. Nina.
So the question I would have been like to ask was, what steps could the board take to establish community's trust? In my years of leadership, one of my biggest achievement was bringing our team together with other board members and bringing the community together in support of our students and programs. All this is possible only with involving the community by building their trust. I believe effective school boards are accountably driven, spending less time on operational issues and more time focused on policies to improve student achievement. Thank you.
Thank you. Please join me in a round of applause for the candidates participating tonight. The candidates will remain after the forum to give you a chance to talk with them individually. You may also pick up their literature in the lobby. And please visit lwvcs.org in the coming days to find the video for tonight's forum. Go to the calendar on the website, scroll down to the listing for this event to find the link to the video. Also, I encourage you to check out votersedge.org, formerly Smart Voter, the League of Women Voters election information website. Among other valuable information, it includes content on the money behind political campaigns at the federal and state levels. More information will be added to Voters Edge throughout October, especially for local contests and measures. I want to thank you all for attending. I also want to thank the people that sent us questions by email. We greatly appreciate the City of Cupertino for the use of Community Hall this evening and for the wonderful TV crew whose work makes this forum available to all Cupertino voters. We hope tonight's forum has helped you with your voting decisions. If you like this event and would like to help us on future forums, please visit our table in the lobby. At that table, you will also find flyers listing more election events. And last and most importantly, please remember to vote on November 6th. Thank you very much.
But you did great.
is fast-paced and ever-changing. We need a senator who will lead us into the future. We need courage. We need integrity. We need someone who won't walk away from trouble.